Hello, crewmates. What it do, what it do. Before we begin with this episode, I want to give a little warning that this episode is X-rated. That's right. We talk a lot of, we say a lot of derogatory things in this podcast. We're talking hand jobs. We're talking about so many other things. And so if you're surrounded by kids or you are under the age of 18, or if you want to listen to this episode but you don't want your parents to be listening to this episode, then I suggest putting on headphones. So that's a little warning. I have a guest on the show. His name is Zach Noe Towers. I adore him. And the reason why we're having all these guests right now is because, guys, my crewmates, we're waiting for the co-host, the new co-host to be arriving. Her name is Hannah Sulak, and she'll be arriving in about 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm excited for that. And lastly, I was at the 626 market last weekend, and this awesome crewmate named Sam from Lobsterdamus was like, yo. I was like, what? He's like, I listened to your podcast. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I listened to the Bottle Club. I was like, ah! And so I gave him a little high five. We took a photo, and I promised him that I would shout him out in the podcast. So Sam from Lobsterdamus, you're an official motherfucking crewmate, yo. All right. So with that said, let the episode begin. They can hold it like this if you want
great.
to.
Yeah. Because I'm like leaning.
Because you're like a stand-up comedian, so you could do whatever. You're leaning. By the way, you know what I just realized, actually?
Oh, no.
No, it's not a bad thing. But when I'm naked, it's hard to actually be productive. Because I was like naked, walking around the apartment since my housemate's not around. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get to work. And then I just sat there. And like, I didn't.
You didn't do anything sexual?
No, I didn't do anything sexual because I need my energy up for right now in this
wow.
moment. You know,
okay,
like,
thank you for giving your cum energy.
Yeah, exactly. But that's, and then like when you sit down on chairs when you're naked, it's like.
Oh, I'm sitting on a naked chair?
No,
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, not yet. Not yet. It's all wiped out. But,
okay, great.
But you know, you get those markings. It's like, you know, when you sleep on carpet sometimes.
Sure. And you have like a print on you?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait. I'm so curious. What about being naked makes you lethargic? Just like you feel like an animal and you're like, work doesn't exist?
That's probably it, but also have like a distraction. Like I don't have like the largest thing in the world, but it's like it's there,
like,
and I'm like, it's like, what
you.
do I do? You know, it's kind of like when you have like a very like lazy day and you decide to watch Netflix.
Oh my God.
In your bed or wherever you're sleeping,
Yeah.
and then you're like, you know what? I just have to, and then you just
nap.
Jack off. Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway, hello. What's up, crew? I love you guys. I'm excited. My name is Jonathan Garano.
And I'm Zach Noe Towers.
And welcome to the Bottle Club. And we're about to talk about some things. Oh, you know, don't forget, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And if you're listening to the audio, you want to see Zach's beautiful face. So check out the Bottle Club on YouTube. And guess what, Zach? If they leave a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast, guess what happens?
I get some sort of bonus.
Yeah, they do. But they get a video message from me if they leave their Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The review.
Well, yeah, they leave like they come and then they leave it, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to DM.
What a great incentive.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I thought about money and I realized, no, I'm not that rich.
No, I mean, and your presence is the gift.
Oh, the presence is the gift.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you feel like you're like, how do you have that goal? Because I feel your fucking energy right now, and I love this aura, and I know you want to talk about so many different things.
Oh my God.
But I just fucking, like, I love this energy, right? It feels so good. But, like, where do you think that comes from? Like, how, like, where does that drive and that need to be like,
I honestly think I specifically was born with something.
Okay. All right.
I think the self-love began at a young age for me, and though I like lost it a little bit.
What?
What
do you mean lose it?
Okay, so I like had like kind of a dark period of my life, but like now I'm like getting back to like young Zach vibes, and like young Zach vibes was like wanted to make people laugh, wanted to be like the fun part of the night, like wanted to just like make people smile and feel good.
Right.
So like now I'm just like trying to be that kid again.
Wait, when you make someone happy and they laugh, like do you get endorphins? It's
yes,
kind of like
definitely,
the exercise?
definitely. So people say I'm a good hugger. And
you are a good hugger.
Honestly, when I hug people, I think about the energy I'm getting from them. So I don't mean this to be like creepy, but I feel like
You're becoming one.
Yeah,
You're
and I'm like,
unison.
I'm like,
and you feel it, right?
Yeah, I'm getting energy right now. Like I can.
Have you ever hugged someone though, on the energy that you were
Oh
getting
my God,
back?
yes, of course. Like a corpse. Like I'm
Okay.
like, oh, there's nothing going through this person. It's just like wiry and like uncomfortable.
That's exactly how I feel when it comes to like massaging people.
That you feel like that?
No,
or when someone does it to you?
As in, well, I don't like getting massaged because a lot of people suck at massage.
Oh,
like,
sure.
I have a high, like, standard.
Okay, that's good.
Like whenever I got massaged, I had to like, get up and like, this is how I want you to massage me.
Lay down on the table.
Actually, yeah, I do that often. I'm like, hey.
God.
I was about to talk about, no, don't talk about that.
You got jerked off at a masseur?
You know.
Is that what you're going to say?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Oh my God. But anyway, multiple times. No.
Yeah, same.
God, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, can I tell what happened? So how did you get?
So
what happened?
the
What
first
happens?
time for me it was, and I haven't had that many massages, but I did something. I did a favor for my girlfriend, and she got me a massage from this place. Like, and she's like a rich ass like girl. So I was like, I went to this nice little place, and the dude. Like, I was fiddling with my towel, and he's like, why don't you just lose the towel?
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I, like, lost the towel, and he didn't, like, turn away. And then I was trying to fiddle with the sheet, and he's like, you can lay on top of the sheet. And I was like, oh, I didn't know if that was inappropriate. And he goes, it is inappropriate. And I was like, okay.
So he gave a little like, up and down, and he's like, okay, we might do something
Yeah,
here.
and then for me, it was, I had my hands on the edge of the table, and he kept, like, landing his package, like, on my hand.
Wait, his package on
like
your
his
hand?
dick, like when he was massaging me.
Because he was like wearing tiny shorts, probably.
He was wearing like scrubs. No, it was like a nice place. It was like he was wearing like a masseur's uniform.
Oh, wow.
Kind of looked like a nurse, like scrub vibes.
Well, he was gonna give you a checkup if you know
yes,
what I mean.
he was. But yeah, and then by the time I flipped over, I was fully hard, and I was like, "Oh, sorry," and he's like, "No, it's great." And then
was it like a surprise? Like, whoa! He was like, ooh.
No, he knew it was coming because
Okay.
like he was hard too, and I'd been like rubbing my hand against his dick.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was like a very nice mutual experience.
That's really great.
Yeah, and then he jerked me off. Like he like got behind my head and like jerked me off.
Oh, so he was. Oh, that's so cool. So
He
wasn't in front of you. He walked behind.
Yeah,
you.
with his like
So
mouth
his
by
bone-
my ear.
So his mouth behind.
He was like
your
he was like kneeling down.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That is some you know what I say? I think that's a very intimate, trusting moment.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that's beautiful. Wait, did you like return the favor or did you just tip him?
Well, my girlfriend paid for it. That's the funny part too. So like almost like clockwork. I'm walking out of the place and she's like, "How was the massage?" I was like, "He jerked me off," and she's like, "He was not supposed to do that." Like,
But it's what he did.
Great.
That's my energy.
But I totally did pull his like dick out at one point just to like
Take a
see
look.
it, kind of give it a tug.
Okay, but you don't like. It's like I was done.
Yeah,
I give you
I
like
mean-
you're not paying me.
No, exactly.
Right? There's only so much. I like the ear movement. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know. See,
What was yours? Wait. What was yours?
What was mine? What was my
Yeah,
situation?
weren't you said
okay,
several
okay. So I don't
times.
know if this will be a TikTok clip, guys, but this is especially for the crewmates. This is putting myself out there in a way that hopefully I never get canceled because hey, I will become famous one day. But you know what happens? It happens. No, so I'm with a bunch of my friends, and it's like 11 p.m. and I work in this like space, and I guess the guy was like. And he works like with kids, which is kind of funny. It's always these guys that work with kids, whatever. And they're like, "Yo," I'm like, "What?" I'm new to LA. It's 2018, and he's like, "Yo, have you heard of the HJC?" And I'm like, "What's the HJC?" And he's like, "The Hand Job Club." And you know me. I don't know if you know this, but I love to experience life.
Okay, great.
You know?
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Right, as long as it's not drugs, unless it's like maybe like marijuana or shrooms, because I want to have full control of what is ever happening.
Okay.
Like if they go, "Jonathan, let's skydive," I'm like, "Yeah, let's go," because I would love to experience that, bungee jumping,
Sure.
whatever. This is just like one of those moments. It's like instead of, "Hey, you want to go surfing?" It's like, "Hey, you want to try the HJC?" So it's 11 p.m. and I'm nervous as fuck because I'm like, this can't be real. This cannot be real.
At this point, what do you know about it beyond it's the HJC? Is it a place?
It's a place. That's all I know. I only know it's like a massage place that doesn't close till 2 a.m.
Wow.
in like West Hollywood somewhere.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, this can't be real. It's like, okay, you're going to go to the bank, take out $150 because it's $50 to get in, and then to complete or whatever, it's going to be $100. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm kind of nervous. Of course, I'm like, I don't know if I should do this because I also have an addiction issue, so I don't know if I'll be addicted to this because I'm really scared. But you know what? You only live once.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
You have to do this. You have to go through with this. You
have to get jerked off.
You have to get jerked off. This is an experience. Have you ever heard of the Do It for the Story?
Yeah, that's a comedian. So many people have died doing it for the story. But yeah.
Well, I didn't die. I just got pleasure, I guess. So I can't believe we went. So we walk in this place. There's a security guard. They check your ID, and then there's like this glass closed window.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh fuck. So I give a little tappity tap, and then whoosh, it opens up out of nowhere. Like this tiny little Asian woman pops up, and she's like, "What do you want? It's like $100 for 90 minutes, $50 for 30 minutes." I'm like, $50? She's like, okay. And she closes it. And I look at my friend. He's like, you'll see. We're going to walk in. We're going to be in separate rooms. And then things will happen. And I'm like, things will happen? Like, what?
What Saw film are you about to walk into?
I'm like, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Walk in, it's dark. And then you hear some noises scratching here and there. And then she's like, this is where the restrooms are if you want to clean yourself up. I'm like, okay. And then you walk in and there's this she sanitized this massage chair. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, undress. We'll be right back. So I'm like, okay. But I did not undress because I'm like, what the fuck? Because I don't know what happens if I undress, someone comes in, there's a cop, and I'm going to get arrested. Those are the things that I think about.
You want to be dressed
I want to be
when you
fully
get
dressed
arrested?
just in case I have to run.
Okay.
Have you seen those movies, though? Mm-hmm. Come on, those movies where the guys are completely naked and the cops come.
Sure. I don't want to be handcuffed.
I don't want to be sitting on the sidewalk completely naked with my hands behind my back and people go, HJC. I mean, I Google. I don't know. So I can't believe I'm telling you this story.
No, it's great.
So I don't know what the crewmates are going to be thinking of me. Shit. But anyway, so. I get completely undressed, of course. I sit there. Lay there, and then. Oh no, sorry. I'm fully clothed. And then the door opens, and there's 3 women that are standing there.
Okay.
And then she's like, "You have to choose." And I'm like, "I have to choose." This is kind of
This is very.
This is it reminds me of Rush Hour 2. Okay, this is fine. Let's. So I'm like, "Is it okay? You fine?" She's like, "Okay." So then they close the door. She'll be right back. Now undress. I'm like, "Oh fuck!" So I just I take off my shoes, but I leave my underwear on. I leave kind of my shirt, and I lay down. I'm like, The girl walks in. Oh, and they're told just to put the money there. So I put the $100. So she takes the money, and then she's about to undress. I'm like, no. Can you just massage me first?
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of I don't want the action right away. I want to kind of
you want to be romanced first.
Oh, romanced.
Light a candle.
Yeah, light a candle. And so she's like, "Why do you take off your shirt?" So I'm like, "Okay." I'm shaking. I'm fucking shaking right now.
Oh my god!
Because I've never done this before. Where my favorite move when I'm with a woman is hey, when I come back, you're gonna be undressed.
Okay.
That's my favorite. And then you walk in a little early, and you're like, "Oh," and you play a little cute. You're the guest. I don't know why. Okay, Renee, sorry.
I love it. I love it.
So then she starts massaging me, and then they start to
massage.
I'm like, oh my god, no, do my back. Can you just stay up top? But there's a timer, right? So she's like, you have 15 minutes left, and you gotta because she wants to end this.
Yeah.
So she flips me over, and I'm like, so what's your name? Do you do this often? And she straight up looks at me. She's like, are you trying to humanize me right now?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, am I not supposed to do that? She's like, I just, there's, time. And I'm like, this is not romantic. In my head, this is not romantic. She's rushing me.
Yeah.
But then so as she's talking, she's, doing some stuff. And then she takes off my bottom half and she starts playing. And she's like, do you want the full thing? And I'm like, what's the full thing? And then she puts it on and she starts going down. I'm like, whoa, let's just stick with hands, please. And she's like, you can touch whatever you want. I'm like, no. So I'm looking away.
Oh my god!
I just. This is not romantic as yours.
Is this good memory in your head? Did you come?
I did it myself afterwards because I don't know. When I was in college, I learned from a friend that if a woman is jacking you off, you have to be like, maybe this is toxic masculinity, but it's like, you cannot come. So you cannot come. So you're like, because you got to be like this.
What?
I don't know. So
that is the most bonkers thing I've ever heard.
Like when I was in a relationship for 6 years, my ex-girlfriend only jacked me off once. And we both laughed after like I ejaculated. But it was just like so weird. It's just so weird to me.
Wait, that someone else is jerking you off?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the hand job, right?
Oh, so you like, but is it that you like to be in control thing?
Yes, that's what it is. Also, like, same with also, like, blowjobs are nice and everything, but the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, why the fuck is she doing this? You know, like,
it feels good, doesn't it? Or
it's like a slash of, it's a slash of because of the lack of control, it's a lot of guilt.
Okay.
Right? I don't know where that comes from.
So are you a pleaser?
I'm a pleaser. I love when they're sitting on my face.
Okay.
I love, like, especially if I'm in love with the individual, I love going down.
Sure.
Because I have full control.
And you're like
I love
making
massaging
them feel
people.
good. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that pleasures me.
Sure.
But
okay, so I could see why getting head or being jerked off by someone wouldn't be. It's not your jam.
Right. It's not my jam. Especially like I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
And so then I walk out, and the guy's like, he like picked the girl, and he did the whole thing. He's like, "How'd you like it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And high five, bro. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'll be back here again.
He's like, "Yo, we go every Tuesday. Come, we carpool.
We should. Hey, this is a reward."
Wait, and this was a new coworker friend?
This was, we've been working together for like 2-3 months.
Wow.
But like he's known of me. I've been in the digital media world for a long time, so he's known of me and I've known of him, but we've never like really worked together. Sure. But it's just like one of those days, like, hey, you want to go to the HJC? And
you're like, fuck, I can't say no.
Cannot say no. So yes, I don't even know what we were talking about, but holy shit, guys, is that a TikTok clip? Probably not.
It might be your last TikTok clip.
Yes. Oh God, I got shadow banned a few times because
did you?
We talked about. They don't like when I talk about like car accidents or like because I've had like near-death experiences. They don't like that.
Really?
And then they don't like when I talk about like racial stuff. Like that doesn't really hit the audience very well.
What's the near-death stuff? Does it glamorize death or
something? It glamorizes death, and also it's like very graphic and stuff.
Oh.
But you were talking about like you had like a low point. Like we're always like so cheery and so happy.
Yeah.
But what do you mean that you have to somehow like get yourself from that dark? What was that dark place?
Oh, the dark place, and we've touched on this maybe, but I'm an addict as well in recovery. But
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. I've been sober for 5 years, but like my 20s were very much a blur. Like I got to West Hollywood or Los Angeles, California when I was like 22, almost 23, and then like I got sober when I turned 30 because it wasn't like cute. My behavior wasn't like cute anymore. Do you know what I mean?
You turn 30 and you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah, I literally, on the morning of my 30th birthday, I was dehydrated, like probably covered in jizz from God knows who. And I remember being so sad for not accomplishing any of the things that the younger version of myself had every intention of doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, what was the intention that you wanted to be, like, get to when you were in your 20s?
I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to do TV and film. Like, I wanted to be in movies and TV and stuff like that. And, like, I came out to LA after college, like, with that intention. Cut to, 7 years later, nothing to show for my time.
And you think it's because of the alcoholism?
Definitely, and, like, drugs and stuff.
But did you drink? You were drinking, like, morning, noon, night?
No. I wasn't a daily drinker. I was a binge drinker. So, like, I never had one drink. If I was in a situation where someone was like, I want to have a glass of wine, I would assess if I was going to be able to get more alcohol or like continue the night on. And if I couldn't do those things, I turned down the one glass because that was a waste of time, money, and calories.
Right. So it's like I'm gonna either go on for hours or not go on at all.
I want to check out. Like I want to party. I want to go into oblivion. I want to detach. I want to, vacate my body.
And I think that's really cool. Not really cool, but I was okay. So I knew that we were talking about like addiction earlier, and there's this book that I'm reading called The Power of Habit. Actually,
okay.
and this is not scripted, I swear to God. I have a bunch of books, and I was like, oh my God. But I was reading something, and I was thinking about like my addiction. I have a gambling addict. I'm a gambling addict, and I was reading something about how the people that do really well is all about like practicing willpower. And willpower it's a habit loop. So willpower comes from habits that you create from triggers that might be coming, and so you have to plan for when those triggers happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reasons why people relapse, one of the reasons is because they're not thinking about the potential triggers that might happen. It's like in the 1960s, they did a study with like these little kids, and they put a little marshmallow there. And they were like,
and if you don't eat it, you'll get 2 marshmallows or something like that.
And if you don't eat it, there might be a reward. There's like no thing.
Oh my God!
Right?
But like, don't all the kids eat the marshmallow?
Well, the people that did not eat the marshmallow, that had the willpower not to, they checked them up like 20 years later, and they were usually more successful in a monetary sense than the ones that didn't.
Wow.
And so what they decided to do from that study, it's like, okay, how do I teach kids, how do I teach employees, how do I teach the people around me to create willpower habits? One of the best companies that do this is Starbucks. Okay, so
I can't wait.
Right, so Starbucks, what they do is they found out that in the customer service industry, it's not about serving coffee. Like, you're not in the coffee industry. What you are is you're in the people customer service industry. So each new employee at Starbucks, they're given 50 hours of lessons and curriculum about every single possible situation that you can face with a customer and how to proceed with the next steps to please them.
Crazy.
Right? And so,
like, to de-escalate the situation, or like
escalate it, de-escalate what happens. Like, there's macros, like if a customer says this, or they do this, or you mess up on this, or if there's a spot here, like 50 hours of curriculum. So you're developing willpower habits because you understand about the triggers or whatever that might be coming. So when it comes to kind of your addiction in these last 5 years, what are sort of like the willpower habits that you have like accrued through time? Like what's a trigger in your life, Zach?
Damn, that's interesting because I don't even think about it so much anymore.
Good.
It used to be that I like couldn't go to social situations without drinking. Mm-hmm. So I guess like the anticipation of an event could be a trigger. It used to be performing. I used to drink before I performed. So like getting booked on a show. But I drank for like at concerts. I drank at bars. You know what I mean? Like alcohol was like my co-pilot.
Right.
Like I had to get buzzed before I entered a gay bar. So like gay men, like a date. Like, oh my God, I drank by myself before dates.
Oh, so you're like hyping yourself up.
Yeah,
this is the way to hype yourself up.
Yeah, I also like am now medicated for anxiety, which is the best thing I've ever done. And I think I used alcohol and drugs as an anti-anxiety.
You take SSRIs? Is it like Zoloft?
Zoloft, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yay, dude. Medication's the best.
Dude, I've gotten like 5 people to try meds since I have gotten on them.
Dude, I think some people think that it's like a bad thing, but in reality, I think your brain is like just sometimes all over the place with different chemicals, and I think it's like fine tuning.
Oh,
it doesn't fix the problem.
Yes, okay. So since recovery, like I perceive the world as like what a tool is to me, like, and is it a good tool or a bad tool? Alcohol and drugs, I used it. It was a bad tool. It became a bad tool. But now, like, I use meditation and prayer and gratitude lists and like getting sleep and like eating well and hanging out with people that I respect and love.
Exactly.
And then I know. And then don't tell any. And then the last, like, after 5 years of sobriety, I was like, something is not right. Like, because I'm still
craving
in a funk. Like, I'm still just like, something is up. Like I'm like dreading life in some way. And then like you were saying, the Zoloft is just like another tool. It's like another, it's in my my toolbox now.
What I'm afraid though sometimes, I've been taking my SSR for like 10 years.
Okay.
And I've tried to like wean off of it.
Yeah.
And have you ever thought about like never taking your SSRI or like your Zoloft ever again, or what's kind of like the play that you have in your relationship?
So I've been on it less than a year, and I have no intention of getting off it. That said, I've already talked to my psychiatrist about lowering the dose because I want to see what it feels like.
Right.
And I want, because you do, according to my psychiatrist, you fundamentally change as a person once you've been on it for a bit. Like your brain does change.
Your brain changes all the time, especially if you're putting like good habits and tools inside of them, right?
So like I don't remember being, I wasn't like suicidal or anything. I was just like, really dreading. I felt like I was always in fight or flight. So like I am on 100 milligrams right now. We're gonna like knock it down.
75 probably.
Yeah, 75 and maybe down to 50, and then just see. And then, but if I have to take it for the rest of my life, I guess I have to take it for the rest of my life.
I mean, listen, if it's good for you. I was talking to when I went to a therapist, but I didn't, a psychologist or whatever, some fucking person. I don't think I was paying. Maybe it was like some like friend. But I was talking about taking it off, and they go, a lot of people do that, but what ends up happening is they go into a massive like relapse. And if it's working for you, then you got to continue it. It's like those people that are, it's like this, you're an artist, right? And you're always doing specific things to see your career excel. And even if you get that reward, you got that reward or that awesome opportunity because of your work ethic. You should not stop what you're doing, because if you stop what you're doing, then those opportunities
it's not guaranteed.
Exactly.
It's like pro athletes don't stop training.
Exactly.
And it's that whole like, oh, like I'm better, I don't need this anymore. It's like, no, you're better because you're taking it.
So so like when I think of people that, because I think mental health is very very, very important. I mean, we're very fortunate. Like we are kind of like in the generation where people talk about it, even though I do think that white women have like a big say in the mental health community because they're often heard. But I think when it comes to males, especially when it comes to people of color that are males, like I tell people, especially in my community of like young men, like, yo, dude, I'm so glad that you're taking this. This is not bad for you.
No.
You have to express your emotions and feelings, and everything is just a tool to make you like a better person. And if you're a better person, you're a better man.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's this like mentality, and it exists in so many like fields and there's like generations where it's like it's noble to suffer, or it's like oh, like I like, oh, pull yourself up by the boot. It's like, no, like that's toxic. It's like you're not supposed to be suffering. You're not supposed to feel like you're surviving every day.
Right.
Like, maybe you are circumstantially, but like most of us, you don't have to.
See, that's something that I've been thinking about a lot, because in our pop culture, right, men that express any sort of vulnerability, it's like, oh, are you crying like a little baby? So it's like used for comedy.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is, what you end up seeing is like you see the frustration of these men that are going through so much emotion that it turns into anger.
Yeah.
This happens in a lot of Mel Gibson movies,
Sure.
like instead of like crying about something, he like uses and then it's justified because he's like killing a bad guy, or the dude's having like a amazing temper tantrum, and therefore they end up using their anger, and then they fall onto like the cups of like a woman who holds them. I mean, perfect example is the movie with what's that guy who used to be Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman brothers.
Oh,
he has like PTSD, and instead of being able to express his feelings and emotions to his wife, he ends up getting like really angry, and it just showcases that men have to express their feelings, and it's okay to cry productively.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And there's the whole, like, Brené Brown. Have you read any of her books or, like, watched her? She's a special on Netflix. She's great. But vulnerable people are the most courageous people, because they're exposing, it's like exposing your belly. It's like, I'm vulnerable. Like, I'm telling you how I feel. Like,
but
that's
is there
the most courageous thing.
But is there
do.
like a right way to do this? Do you think? Is there a wrong way to be vulnerable? Because what I'm afraid of is I don't want my trauma to be my personality.
Totally.
So like,
totally.
how do you balance that out?
So the best advice I've ever got was make sure the person you're giving the information to is able to carry it. So like your best friend might be able to carry your trauma or the news of your trauma. So you have to assess, like, is this person able to carry this information about me? And like then you just have to make sure you're giving it to you're telling the right person the things.
It's like creating a safe space to be vulnerable.
Yeah. In recovery, we have our sponsor, and you should be able to tell your sponsor everything.
Right.
From I was sexually molested, or I murdered someone, or anything in between, or like I'm afraid of doves or pigeons. But like but you wouldn't tell anybody everything. Like, so you have to like decide who you're going to tell what. But as long as you're telling someone everything, I think that's the way to be vulnerable. And they allow you to say,
I mean, that's why paying a therapist is really good.
Yes. But so many people don't. This is blowing my mind too. Like, I grew up in the generation where it was very much boys aren't supposed to cry and girls aren't supposed to get angry. And it's resulted in a lot of boys getting angry and girls crying. Because it's like they don't
know how to do both.
Yeah.
And I think, I think you would have a lot of like healthier mentally people to be able just to live like a peaceful life, to be able to do this.
Yeah, to feel your feelings.
Right. It's not about happiness and sadness. It's just being able to express and articulate what's going on in the world. And without being completely judged. Of
course. And that's why you don't have 3 glasses of wine and start talking about your mom dying at a party, because then you do become that guy. Like, oh God, Jonathan the weepy willow, like
you need some boundaries, right? You need some boundaries. You can't expect people to always fucking be there for you. That's like kind of selfish.
I mean, it's just like, yeah. I don't know if I selfish isn't where I was going, but it is very egotistical, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Because it's just like, oh, like this is everyone's problem now. It's like, no, like that's not how society works.
This is your problem. This is your issue, and create that safe space. I mean, that's what I am a big, not a failure at this, but I think I was a very like big proponent on this, where even if I was in a relationship with a person, I always thought to myself they should take and feel everything that I'm feeling. But in reality, I have to just deal with my own thing. And if they are willing to listen, and I go, is this okay to live?
Sure.
Then
do you mind if I talk about can I vent about something?
Because everyone has their own boundaries, and you have to be aware of it and respect each other's boundaries because of it.
The thing I've found with like being having a boyfriend or a significant other is the best thing you can each do is take care of yourself. So you can show up for that other person. Because if both of you are leaning at the same time, it doesn't work.
Right, you need that seesaw.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a seesaw?
Yeah, I mean, it works. Back and
forth. maybe it's like a boat. Like both of you can't just let the water
you both
sink
have to be rowing. Yeah. And like one could take a break for a minute, and the other one could but one can't be always rowing the boat.
You son of a fucking.
That's a great.
Hey, top of the dome.
That's great.
No, you inspired me to say this.
Great, yeah.
So we're like each other's muses.
Yes.
Do you believe in muses, by the way? Like there's just some people in your life where you're like, oh my God,
no.
I am jacking off into the inspirational part of my life.
Jacking off into the inspirational. Not people, I don't think. I am moved by like art or like a great joke. Yeah, I guess like seeing one of my peers just crush a show, it like fills me with like life.
Right. Yeah, that's something too. Like if I actually like someone and they're successful, I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
But if I don't like necessarily care for that person, I'm just thinking to myself, competition, let's go. I never think that I'm better than anybody. Because I think once you think that you're better than someone, then you don't improve.
Sure.
I just think there's just 2 types of people in this world. People that I celebrate and people who are my competition. And the people that are my competition are always like better than me.
I would push you.
Okay, push me.
To not compare yourself ever to anyone.
Okay.
And literally, but you do this already, and even if you don't acknowledge it, stay in the work. Just stay in your work.
Right.
Put your little horsey blinders on, and just focus on your work.
Okay, so I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Okay, see, this is hard because sometimes I'm like, hey, what is my goal?
Yeah, what is your goal?
And I feel like the people that are quote unquote better than me, they're setting that standard. So it's like, okay, this guy makes the movie. It's like, okay, this is the blueprint that he or she followed. I have to get there.
Well, none of us are gonna have another person's exact path.
But you can follow a blueprint, right?
Sure. But like, what's your blueprint? And do you have like literally, are only 5 people using it? Or is it like thousands of people are using your blueprint?
Well, okay, so you take little bits and pieces of people that have been successful in the fields that you want.
Sure.
And then you're like, how did they get there? And what is possible through my resources, my means, my creative of what I can actually implement.
Sure.
Like if so for example, Gary Vee, even though I don't really like Gary Vee, but like Gary Vee, he's able to post content every single day and go viral every single day. And I realized, he has a content team of like 20 fucking people.
Wow, yeah.
So I can't copy him, but what I can do is like, okay, I'm able just to focus on one platform and produce a lot of content there. Yeah. And then you can slowly build. So that's an example of like a blueprint. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I shudder when you were bouncing around. I think comparing yourself and cherry picking is even more dangerous because guys. I could be wrong. I'd be wrong.
No, that's okay. It's okay. This is the bottle club.
It has to be like if you're comparing yourself, it has to be to like the one person and their whole life. Like Gary Vee's twice your age probably, right. And he's been around. Like, of course, you can't compare yourself to him. You just can't.
But
your circumstances are so wildly different.
Okay, so how maybe it's like not. Maybe it's not. I'm comparing. Maybe it's like
Now, if he's your muse. Okay, I think that's a healthier thing.
Okay, so muse and inspiration versus competition.
Yes, and comparison.
Okay, so okay, listen, I'm a competitor of myself, and you are
great.
Too, probably.
Yeah. Like that's the only person you should be.
And I'm not satisfied where I'm at, but I don't know where my goals are unless I have something to like look at. Because I can't be like, I want to get 1 million followers, but then I have to think to myself, is it even that fucking possible? But then I see someone.
It is absolutely possible.
Well, okay, it's like this.
It is.
Okay, it's like this. Back in the day, right? The fastest 1 mile run I think was like 5 minutes and 27 seconds or something. Don't fucking quote on me, that crewmates. But no one knew if that was possible to beat. But once someone beat that 1 mile record,
yeah,
everyone it started getting lower and lower and lower because people understood that it was possible.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, yes, anything is possible, but when you see someone kind of be the first or actually get there, you're like, I can surpass that now. Or that is possible.
Why is it so important for you to surpass it?
I don't think that we would be able to meet, because I love meeting amazing people with different experiences, if I didn't have a following. The only way that I'm able to meet amazing people is if I'm amazing. Does this make sense?
Yeah, okay, but...
So that's my goal.
But this is the thing, I met you at a... Wait, we didn't meet at the party for the first time.
No. We met 2019.
Yeah, okay. But we talked really for the first time.
Right.
And had a conversation kind of recently.
Right.
So I was sold on you then. I didn't look up your following, when you asked me to do this. You volunteered it.
Okay. Keep on going, and then I have a little thing.
So I would say not everyone's going to say yes necessarily, but you showing up and putting yourself out there and asking is what you can do.
Okay, so there's this quote, and it says the greediest person in the world is someone who gives the most. Oh, sorry, no. I
was like, oh no, I legit don't understand that.
Sorry. The wealthiest person in the world is someone who gives the most. And so what I believe is that when I meet anybody, what value can I give right away instead of thinking about myself?
Oh, that's great.
And in doing so, I will become wealthy. I'm not always thinking I'm going to get something back. That's not what my mindset is, because that's more fun. And people love receiving value. And then from there, we can have a conversation. So when we met, I gave value because I wanted to, and it felt natural and it felt good. But I wouldn't have been able to give you that value if I didn't have years of experience to get there and provide value, which triggered the conversation of those experiences. Now for us to be sitting down and having this conversation.
Sure. So you're saying, everything you've done has led you up until this moment in time. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
So I would for you, and it's again with staying in the work, and you're doing so many of these things, you never need to compare yourself to anyone else. If your goal is to make content so quality that it continues to improve the human race years after you're gone, that has nothing to do with Gary Vee, unless he's inspiring you.
Right. It's just I just want to be in those rooms where I'm surrounded by, all those quote unquote, however you define the successful / amazing people. For me to be in a community of these Morgan J or Andrew Rofo or you or just anybody that I look up to as gods, you know, right? The smallest lowercase gods.
GAWD.
Yes, and you guys are there, and so it's the only way that I feel like I'm good enough to be in that room is if I'm good enough to be in that room.
You're already in that room.
Right, because of all the years of hard work to get there.
Yeah, but that's you're reaping the benefits of years of hard work.
And so what I'm saying is you're not, this is so hard. It's I never want to be that faker. Okay, here's an example. Right?
Okay, I can't wait.
I was at this back when I started my company in 2012 with another guy called Venture Chimp, where we helped YouTubers, go to concerts and suddenly manage them.
You're rolling your eyes at yourself a little bit,
right? Because it feels so I'm bragging.
Oh no, okay. No! You're just telling me what the backdrop is.
Okay, cool. So we would go to these panels with other YouTubers and things, and I would see so many people come up to these panels and be like, "We need to work together," blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and I always thought to myself, the fuck? You and the panelists would tell me dude, what the fuck? They're asking me to work with them already.
Yeah.
When they don't offer anything, they're not giving anything of value. So I had it in my mind that you have to give value, especially if they want it. And the only way that you can give value is if you practice and hone on your craft, and then you put yourself out there. And so for so many years, until maybe around 2017, that's when I would put myself out there and be okay, I have the portfolio and the resume to get there, and that takes time.
Sure.
And I never want to be in a position with the gods where
you're that fledgling YouTuber going
the fledgling work with me. It's you haven't earned it yet.
I hear you 1000%.
Okay.
What you say it makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense.
Okay.
I would argue that fundamentally you will never be one of those people because you see the behavior. You acknowledge something's weird about this person who's clearly very successful and someone off the street, flagging them down for a collab. It's that's crazy.
Right.
But also 1 out of every 100 of those people is probably going to get the collab.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And maybe they won't regret collabing. Or maybe they'll be can I be your assistant? I'll work for free. And then they work you know what I mean?
Well, that's the giving the value.
Yes.
So,
okay, yes.
So working for free.
See,
it's so it depends what you're asking for. Some people are just we need to work together. Right? It's shut the fuck up. Or they're pitching their business idea. It's shut the fuck up. But it's if I want to be there for you, and I feel, again, I know I keep on repeating myself, but I can't be there for anybody if I don't have the skills to do so.
Of course.
I wouldn't be in the Morgan J's apartment having fun, having a blast with him, and then talking to you if I didn't have a set of skills or value propositions that I could not give him when we first met.
Sure. But that's okay to acknowledge because that's just how life works.
Right.
People, I used to think this sounds so rough that you either brought money, looks, or personality to the table. That's how I so I'd assess okay, is this guy charming?
Right.
Is he hot or is he rich?
Right.
And it's that's so violent. That's such a violent gradient. But there's some truth to it. Not everybody is going to get invited to the Morgan J party.
Right.
but you like again. I'll go back to like you are at the Morgan J party,
right. But okay.
But I just think
I just don't want to lose that, so that's why I keep on working. And I'm not saying it's imposter syndrome. I'm just saying I just don't want to lose it, and so therefore I have to be better than I was yesterday.
I experienced that too, like that fear, imposter syndrome. I still absolutely like. I faced that when I did stand up for free for so long in Los Angeles that like when people started to offer me money, I was like, oh no, I do this for free. Like this isn't worth your money. Like I'll do it for free, you know. And so that's something I've had to get over. But I do hear like a lot of fear in the word you're using. Like I don't want this to go away. Or like, so I don't think the motivation, I'm like just giving, you never asked for my advice.
No.
I'd like to put it out to everyone that
guys,
never asked for my advice.
Well, I mean, you're the guest. It's kind of weird but anyway, it's fine. No, this is the Bottle Club. It's fun. Like it's an evolving thesis of things, right? So,
but I would just say like, you are such a smart person. You're such a talented person. You're such a charming person. Like the fear of whatever going away it's like take that boulder off your shoulders
because it won't
or like if it does like if it the does, thing is you're gonna manifest it going away in some way because you find what you look for,
right?
So like if you're looking for I didn't get invited this weekend to Morgan's party, like your brain is going to have a heyday. Meanwhile, Morgan might just have literally forgotten to send you a text.
It's like
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the confirmation bias of
confirmation bias. I just learned about like a month ago, and I just was like, it blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Right, because you look for your brain will see whatever.
To be right.
It's like when someone says, "Oh, my name is Jared," and then confirmation bias. You're like, "Oh my god, I'm meeting all these Jareds."
Yes.
But that's why like for my confirmation bias, I mean, I see my whiteboard, but every single day I write, "I am whatever I want to be."
Sure.
And then I write, "You are that" as well. So
is that sending it out to the universe? Is that part of that?
It's sending out to me. It's like a reminder. Like because I saw what's his name?
I do the same thing. I do affirmations, but I didn't. There was a meditation I did where it was like, I am healthy, I am loved, I am safe. And then like you repeated it, you are. And it was like sending that prayer out to everyone you'd meet that day.
Oh no, fuck everybody else. This is just for me.
Fair, yeah. Fuck everybody is what I say when I wake up.
Fuck everybody! Because we're actually going to penetrate or be penetrated in a pleasurable, consentful way. Mm-hmm. No, wait. Who's that guy that dates Camille Cabello? He has that song, Senorita.
Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
Scott Mendes?
Shawn
Mendes. Okay. So Shawn Mendes, I saw his like theatrical documentary trailer. And what he does, and this is like, he always has his journal, and every day he writes like, I am a great singer, like because you have to be like in the present now.
Does he have to sound out the syllables like that?
Yeah, he says
he's
it
like
very
spelling it
because even though as much as he's good looking, he always has to speak slowly like that. There's always one crux that he has, you know. No, I'm kidding. He's an intelligent, amazing 6'2" guy.
All the Mendes fans are gonna tear you apart.
Don't.
He's so hot.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go on.
No, that's a new thing.
He says, "I'm a great singer."
Yeah. So he's like, "I'm a great singer," and then he's like, "I have nice vocals. I'm a guy that has nice vocals. I am someone that can sing really well. I am always inspired." Then, and so I was like, "Oh shit! If Shawn Mendes does that, if it's good enough for Shawn Mendes, it's good enough for me." So now I write that like I am someone that has great flowing hair. It's like that's not I have, but I am this. I am that, and then I say you are, because then that ability is like self-reflection. Like I look in the mirror and like I am sexy, you are sexy. I am healthy, you are healthy. And then for example, like I'm going to it's like the I am statement.
Sure. See, but I would take out going to have. Because I've always heard it as you speak as if it's present tense and it's already happening.
That's right, that last
one.
one.
And the universe fills it in.
That last one. I
have an
amazing
co-host
named Hannah. So like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I do. Fuck yes,
yeah.
you're absolutely
I
right.
do the same thing. I do morning pages, which is
Morning Pages?
The Artist's Way. Have you ever heard of this?
I have that book. It's somewhere there. I haven't fucking read it yet.
So
bitch.
it's a 12-week course, and I only got to week 8, and there's some beautiful concepts in it. And one of the things I've taken from it is Morning Pages, which is just like 15-ish minutes or 30 minutes, however you want to do, of just free writing. And I type it into Google Doc because I just writing cramps my hand. It really does.
It's like when you give a hand job too long, your hand's
So I just type in a Google Doc, and I've been doing it for 2 years now.
And how's that going?
Great. It's truly like the thoughts that come up are like my friend booked this thing and I feel like I'm too old. And I'm like, we went negative real fast.
Oh, but you're able to reflect on that.
Yeah, I get to go, okay, I feel like I'm taking the gunk off the top layer of the pool every morning. Like, I'm just like,
wow, that's a really good
get these out.
The gum out of the pool.
Yeah,
Very
just like
nice.
Get them out.
Get some algae.
Yes.
Holy shit, I
and
love
things
this.
will pop up and my dad's birthday is, oh my God, my dad's birthday. Like it surfaces, and then I'm like, I have to get my dad a birthday card today. And it's like, just stuff. It's like meditative.
It's like, what is the positive things? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going into this negative wormhole.
Yes. Well, and then I end with affies and manis, which
Affies and
affirmations
manis?
and manifestations.
Okay.
I just when I type,
I
I'm
like
shorted
this.
to
I
affies
like
and
this,
manis.
Affi, okay.
But I go like, I am kind, I am loving, I am receiving, I am grateful, I am giving, I am patient, I am resilient. I just write every good adjective I can think about, and then I'm so happy money is constantly flowing to me. I'm so excited that price tags never freak me out anymore.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. I always have enough money to give to anyone at any time.
Hey, can I have $1,000, by the way, Zach?
You know? Maybe.
Yeah, no, just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, no, I also have the theory that like money truly isn't real. Like I feel like if I gave you $1,000,
I believe in the same thing.
Yeah, like it's just like, honestly, I would transfer it from my Venmo account and it would be like, But then I bet tomorrow I'd book something and get $1,200 back.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I've been broke all the time in my entire life. And then I'm like, you know what? Someone's either going to give me money or something. I don't know why. That's the only thing that I've told everybody, that out of all my worries, I know that I'll just be okay.
Yeah.
Like just enough to live. Like something will always happen.
This is what I had to recognize. I was worrying about money all the time.
Right.
And I had to go, wait, 6 months ago, I was also stressed about money. But here I am, not in jail, not homeless, not starving. Like, it seems that money works itself out.
It's kind of crazy. It's like when you want something so bad sometimes, it just never comes to fruition. But when you are lax and relaxed and saying it will happen and you put it in the work, it will naturally come.
That is it, though, putting in the work. You can't just be like, it's gonna happen. Like, you have to be like working.
But why does it happen? Why is like when you're super stressed out, wanting this thing so much and you're strangling it, that it doesn't happen? But then like, even though then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna relax for a second. I'm gonna put in the work. And then it just happens gracefully.
That's a reoccurring theme. It's like if you love the thing, set it free. Like you have to have a loose grasp on everything. You have to be very grateful for what you have, but like not hold anything too tight. My theory there is that the universe sees you pinching your pennies and holding on to your money and not giving it away and they go, oh, they have enough. So I'm gonna let them just like keep doing what they're doing because like they're not letting it move. I fully believe that money is an energy you have to literally. When I started making more money, I started doing this thing where I'd give someone randomly a $20 bill.
Same, I do the same thing.
Stop it.
But I do it through food.
Okay, so I would give it like to female poster workers are my favorite ones. Like I'll pull over and I'll run and be like, "Can I buy you lunch?" And they're like confused and disoriented, and then they're like really happy, and I'm like, the joy it brings me to like buy someone lunch and like
it comes back to you.
Yes. And I never noticed that $20 is gone ever.
It's so much fun. Like if you have that extra dollar, why not just
give it? But because then you're showing the universe, oh, like he can I like what he's doing with it. I'm going to give him more.
I like that. I like to, I don't know. It's just so much fun. Like if I'm in a line for Chick-fil-A I don't know why I said Chick-fil-A, but like
because you're homophobic.
That's right. Get the fuck out of my house, Zach. You don't belong here.
You're homophobic, and I get it. Like, that's crazy. I tried to cancel you, and you like kicked me out of your house.
Hold on. Oh, we're almost done. See, perfect. Then we do one more, and that's it.
Whoop 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 whoop.
Looking good on No, like if I have a good conversation with someone, like a restaurant, whatever, my favorite thing to do is like pay for their shit and then leave.
Like
I go up
like
and like,
in line
I'm
or
like,
whatever?
see that fucking kid right there? Make sure he doesn't pay because I'm going to pay for his lunch. That is like my favorite thing. But I only do it for like one person.
Sure.
Like and then sometimes their friend is like, what about me? I'm like, bro, dude, that guy, we just had a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I can't give it to everybody. It's just like it's how I feel. It's like giving a compliment to someone. I like to go and give like genuine compliments. And if I don't like somebody or not like somebody, but if I don't see anything beautiful about that person and my spirit says I can't find it, then I'm not gonna say it.
No, don't force it. It's all about being genuine.
Right.
But like also like you said, like giving that compliment, like it takes nothing from you. And again, it like becomes, have I said this already? My goal has been recently to be the highlight of someone's day instead of the low point of someone's day. And that always going to come from like being patient, understanding, open-minded, and like, yeah, like taking a pause, taking a breath.
Well, you're my highlight right now.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my shit. I'm growing, dude. I'm growing. Oh my God. I was thinking about something recently because in my last podcast, right? The woman that I had, she was talking about when someone like opened up to her and basically said like, I love you.
Okay.
And I've been thinking about love and like the first time someone that like loved me or liked me or whatever. And I have a question like what's some things that happen in your life that you think right now where someone said like, I like you or I loved you or you knew someone and you kind of like fuck that up in some sort of way.
Wait, like I didn't feel it back? Or
you didn't feel it back or you wanted to say it back, but you didn't know how to respond.
I mean, I'm a textbook avoidant person. Mm-hmm. So this has happened to me multiple times with guys dating me and I can feel them. Wow, it sounds egotistical, but I can feel them falling in love.
Wow.
And I like nip it in the bud. I terminate things before it gets to quote unquote real.
So let's say like you feel it and I'm like, hey Zach, I have to tell you something.
I'm like, hold on, I have to go to the bathroom and then I leave. No.
Where did he go?
I mean, I honestly would self-destruct or I'd like implode the thing before, as soon as I felt that he was feeling something that I wasn't. And I think that's a lot of like, I was making wild assumptions half the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But now with your guy,
yeah.
Has he said I love you?
So interestingly enough, we've said it in passing.
What do you mean? What does that mean in passing? Like you're walking in the living room, I love you, and then I love you too.
So he basically, I told him I loved him in the same text that said I wanted to drop the label of boyfriends.
You said it in a text message? How romantic!
Hold on. I would like to take a moment.
All right.
And I would like to defend.
I'm not putting you down.
No. But I agree that there's this like stigma gets like that's an in-person thing or like that's a phone call thing. I support relaying extremely important information via text.
Okay.
Because it's just I communicate primarily by text.
Okay.
Whether it be on Instagram, my phone, or Twitter or whatever, like that's how I get a lot of my information. And sometimes it helps for me to reread it. Do you know what I mean?
That is smart. So you're like, so that way you don't say anything that you might regret.
Yeah,
so it's like a bullet point. Like 1, I love you. Number 2, can you put out the trash? Number 3,
literally, I said 3 things.
Oh shit! What did you say?
I said.
So this is how you said I love you to somebody?
And that I didn't want to be boyfriends.
Okay, so explain.
I said first of all, I love you. I know we haven't said that, but I have lots of love for you, and it doesn't scare me to let you know that. And then 2. I don't want anything to change with what we're doing.
Okay.
I love spending time with you. You've been like a really great source of comfort for me
the
past year. and I don't want to lose that.
Right.
3, I would like to take a step back from the label boyfriends. I'm not sure how I feel about long-term relationships. I've never seen really great ones that I admire, and I just don't see any point in having that title.
Wow. By the way, was it LOVE? Or did you like spell it in a weird way, like LAUV?
That's a thing you do,
right? But I just wanted to know.
I love you. No.
Okay.
That shouldn't even make it to text. I don't think.
Okay.
Because that's a fucking mind game. That's like, ha, 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 ha. I kind of said it, but I didn't really. That is like crossing your fingers when you say something to someone. Like, I love you too, and your fingers are fucking crossed.
Well, see, okay. Holy shit! Wait a second. I don't say it because I just want to make it very clear, because I think in our generation we say the word I love you a lot, like I love you, I love you, I love you.
Sure.
And I just want to like stamp it.
So do you see you don't want love to be watered down? Is that the thing?
I don't want love to be watered down, but then what I've been realizing since that episode is like my expectations of not watering down love has actually made me push so many people that I actually loved at that moment.
Yeah.
This is a weird story, but I was thinking when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
There was this next door neighbor named Taylor who had this friend named Brittany, and I was very shocked that this other 13-year-old girl like was attracted to me, and she was really beautiful as a 13-year-old, as I was a 13-year-old. I just want to make that very clear. And
she was 41.
She was 41. It was kind of weird. But I remember this, like she was cute and she loved to see me. And I remember they wanted to play one day, so they knocked on the door, and I just like woke up from a nap, opened the door, saw Taylor, then saw Brittany, and I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I can't play with you. And then I looked at Brittany straight in the eyes and I said, by the way, I hate you. And then I closed the door. And holy shit, I think about, not that often, but like every so once in a while, I remember Taylor knocking on the door, opening the door, and like, how could you say that? And I see Brittany like running, crying, past my driveway. And then I felt so bad. And then I called, the father the next day, and I just wanted to be like, hey, I apologize, blah, blah, blah.
Did you really? That's scarier to me than anything, calling the parent to apologize.
Yeah, I did that.
Did you
apologize
to her?
I mean, I tried to, but I saw like Brittany in passing, but
how much of this was like they pull your pigtails when they like you thing, or they push you down when
I think that's like probably the same thing.
But was it also a defense mechanism that you were like unaccepting of love?
Yeah, that's probably the key. I mean, I don't want to talk about like my past, but yeah, that was key. Like the first woman that I absolutely thought I was going to marry and love. I mean, I'm so glad that we broke up, because I understand that our personalities don't mesh anymore. But we were like near this elevator. It was like the dorm room. I was 21. She was like 19. College love. We're sitting there next to the elevator. Her legs are crossed. It's kind of cute, and I already know that it's kind of like coming, because she's saying, I'm developing like really strong feelings for you. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, people they fall in love. And it's like, I think that I'm falling in love with you. And she's like, I don't think it's falling. I think, and I know that I'm in love with you. And I don't know why, and I should have like said it back because I really wanted to, but I looked at her.
Oh my God.
And I said,
I fucking hate you.
No, I think worse. I looked at her and I said, listen, your definition of love will change over time, and you'll realize when this doesn't work out that you did not really love me in this moment like you think you do. Holy fucking shit.
I mean, this is like textbook self-sabotage.
Yeah, like I think about that relationship often because, I don't know, I can't believe we're opening up, but I think about that relationship often because, man, I wish that, like, in those moments that I treated her with complete honesty and authenticity, and instead I took her for granted in that moment. And the reason why I say I took her for granted because I expected, like, maybe in my mindset it's like I have her on this leash that she loves me. Well, I should just been completely honest. Like, I love you too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So wait, you did feel like you loved her?
I did, or maybe that's something that I struggle with.
But it was like the semantics of how she expressed her love back turned you off? You were like, oh no, like...
I didn't... Maybe it's like a power move.
Wow.
Like, I'm thinking about it, like, now, this is like an evolving thesis. This is what we do at the Bottle Club, guys. Everything's an evolving thesis. Yeah, this is not like NPR, like an interview. So there's, people sit down, but yeah, I think it was like a power move in a way where it's like a little bit of both. Like, I didn't deserve this love, but also a side of maybe manipulation.
Sure.
Where it's like, haha,
you have the upper hand.
And I think that's one of the worst mindsets that I had in the dating game. This was an actual quote unquote game, and someone
power play
was always holding
winner, loser, chaser, chasey.
When in reality, it's just, we're not playing basketball, we're not playing pool. You know what we're doing? We're swimming together.
Oh,
that's how I think a relationship is right now. It's like we're like lifting each other up and keeping ourselves energized, so that way we can swim in this like cool little pool.
Shark-infested water.
Shark-infested water. I'm gonna cut you so you start bleeding, and then I'll fucking swim
run.
away. Ha-ha!
Yeah, but it is very much that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But you're still stingy with the word love.
Because, maybe it's a little bit of joking, and maybe it's a little self-deprecation, because I remember I used to be an Uber driver in 2000. Well, forever, because you're always on it. But I remember I would entertain like the Uber passengers, and always like every time like these beautiful girls get in, we flirt and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, they'll say something and I get excited. I'm like, I fucking love you. And then I went one day, but don't worry, it's an LUV. And as soon as I said that, all the girls in the car started laughing. And I'm like, oh, this is a really good line to say.
Stop.
And we were talking about habits. And as I'm talking, I realized it became a habit to get that extra push of like a laugh.
Yeah.
That extra push of like, ooh, I'm being uplifted right now.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think about me a little bit more.
Sure.
Wow. Holy shit. Discovery, guys. But it's like, I just want to be able to like make you laugh just a little bit more. And so I mean, as a comedian, stand-up comedian, do you have anything in your arsenal that if you just say it, you're gonna get that laugh?
Yeah, sure. There's stock phrases and things, but like more and more, I'm trying to be so present that if I'm not in the jokey mood, I kind of just like let myself not be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
That didn't answer your question, but yeah, of course.
No, that did answer my question.
It also like making someone laugh is like, it's an endorphin. It's like everything they associate you as like a good thing, and like, oh, I want more of that. That guy gives me energy. He made me laugh. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of an aphrodisiac.
Yeah. So maybe that's something. That's
so crazy though, how habits can become literally. I mean, they create your world.
They create your world, and I don't think I'll ever stop doing that, because I like that reward of the laugh. Like if I'm, oh, you're so fucking cool, and they're like, oh, I fucking love you, but it's LUV love, and then they're like, ha ha ha.
Well, it's also like it's kind of a meta response. It's like calling yourself out. It's like also telling them that I don't really love you.
Right, because I'm saving. Because then it's
just because they haven't earned it yet.
Right. And I think it also makes me, again, maybe it's like a power move too, because it's like, holy shit, how do I get this guy to say LOVE to me?
Sure.
So it's like I'm putting the standards and the boundaries, because yes, I love so many things. Because I love life, but I just want to make sure that if I'm saying LOVE to someone, that I fucking mean it. And so therefore, if I'm saying I love you to someone, that it's an LUV type of love.
It's just so funny. And so many of your things do seem like defense mechanisms. But like for me, it's like the semantics of the word love. I get being a man of your word and like reserving certain things for certain occasions.
Of course.
But like, you're right. People do toss. Okay. This is something I still have to deal with on myself. I don't like when people say this is my best friend about multiple people.
Right.
Because to me, in my head, best, there's only one.
Of course.
Best.
Yeah.
So I say she's one of my closest friends. Like that's my go-to. This is one of my closest friends. I haven't uttered the phrase best friend because it irks me when I hear someone
like
call
that.
me best friend amidst people I know she said it about them. I'm like, that's definitively not true.
I'm not gonna take a bullet for you.
Yeah, well, because then I also go like, okay, you're lying. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel genuine.
Well, you're an acquaintance, Zach, so that's good.
Yeah, but I get that. But it's also like sometimes I just say like I toss out extra loves because I'm like, worst case scenario, this person thinks I would take a bullet for them. What are the odds I'm gonna ever be in that situation?
I mean, hopefully not. Knock on wood. But
it's also like it'd be a psychotic person for them to call you on not saying love you back. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Like, if you don't say I love you, then you're fucking messed up, you sociopath.
Yeah, I mean...
Wow, so you're like, it's another, like, manipulation habitat. No.
Oftentimes, I'm just trying to keep things flowing.
Right.
Without like, sacrificing my morals. Like, I'm not going to say it to, like, some horrible, awful, wretched person, but like...
you have standards, and you want to make sure that some of the standards that you have for yourself in certain situations, like the best friend thing, is... upheld.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Interesting. See, that's really cool. I do say a lot of close friends too. I don't know. I say to a lot of like, this guy will be my groomsman, right? But I don't know.
Do you mean that?
Yeah, some people I do mean that.
Okay, great.
You
seem like a man. Obviously, you seem like a man of your word.
I think of people that I definitely like interchange in my groomsman life, but I don't really know who my best friend is. I do believe that your best friend though should be the partner that you're with.
Oh, really?
Like, okay, so I have a lot of friends that are women, and I used to call this one woman like my best friend. And then I thought about it for a very long time. I'm like, wait a second. My best friend, especially if she's a woman that's attractive or whatever, I like will want my wife or my girlfriend to be my best friend. And then that woman is my close friend. Because if my woman who's my really close friend, if she has a boyfriend that doesn't want me in the life, I don't want to destroy that relationship.
Interesting. You don't think that'd be a telltale sign of...
No, that's their life. That's her love. If they don't want to, I get it because I would want the same thing. If I was with my wife and I'm like, I don't want that friend in your, then so be it, right? So now I'm just thinking everyone's a close friend, and then my best friend, they will be my best man, and I mean that wholeheartedly. But my best friend is going to be my fucking wife.
Wow.
We're nearing the end, but I still don't know. Like, I still don't know who my best man is. I was the best man for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be my best man. I don't even know if he'll be my groomsman if he's listening to this.
I don't think I can't imagine getting married, but if I were, I don't know how much of a traditional situation it would be. I could see like doing the paperwork literally whenever we felt like it, like in the courthouse doing it, but then like literally throwing a party and letting people like make speeches if they want to make speeches.
You don't want anybody to make a speech about you, especially if they're a good speaker.
No.
See,
it sounds
I
like,
don't know.
okay, as a comedian, it feels like homework. Like, will you speak at my wedding? It's like, fuck, sure.
That is true.
And then they have to write something.
Oh.
I'd rather be like off the cuff and like let them like have a couple like martinis and then like say a really funny story. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but then that's also work because as a host, you have to like pull them to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
But a lot of my friends are comedians who are like, they're chomping at the bit to get a microphone in their hands.
That is true. That's how we are. You know, I was thinking about that. It is a homework assignment. I'm a ghostwriter for extra money sometimes.
Oh, wait, I think I knew that.
And I was writing a maid of honor speech.
Oh, my God.
And writing a maid of honor speech as like a straight male is so much fun. Because like you have to get into character, and then like I have like this Google form and all these like specific questions.
Yeah.
Like, when did you meet this person?
Oh,
what are some nicknames to use? Everything. And then once I gather that up, then I'm like, ooh, what can I write? And then I write it like a script. I'm like, I told the client that I was writing, like, breathe here, pause here, say this, don't forget to clap, look around. Like, it's very specific.
Oh,
because
my God.
it's like following a beat. And,
sure.
And she's a lawyer. She's not an actress.
Yeah.
So you're training. So it's like really fun. And then I time the speech, and then I give it to her, and then she told me the other day, she's like, yeah, my hairdresser, as I was reading it out loud, was laughing. I'm like, that's right, fucking. So I felt really good.
So funny. That's a great like concept for like a show or something.
Dude, you gotta write. You could write eulogies.
Yeah.
But maid of honor speeches are like right now. It's a hot market for me, and I'm kind of like you know the movie Hitch.
Yeah.
Where like card gets like spread around.
Yeah.
And then he gets hired. Well, that's how it is for me, but for maid of honor speeches.
Stop.
Yeah. It's
so
really fun.
Someone's like, oh, that was such a great speech.
Such a great speech.
I didn't write it.
Yeah, but they don't tell anybody. But and then like I get an email or like a text message like, hey, can you write my maid of honor speech? I'm like, I'm so down.
Wow.
Because okay, there's actually a formula for maid of honor speeches.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like I met them there.
Well, okay.
I never thought that.
Well, you talk about like okay, so here's kind of like the structure a little bit. So of course it's like you start off. I can't believe I'm teaching you guys this, but if you ever want to be a maid of honor speech, this is what you do. First off, maid of honor speeches, people don't quote unquote usually say they remember them, but this is so what I do is like you first off and you applaud and give thanks to the bride and groom's parents.
Okay.
Then a round of applause to the bride and groom or the partners, whatever. Then you thank everybody in the audience to give themselves a round of applause because, you know, they traveled near and far, so you say. And then
Sure.
and then you throw in and if knowing when I'm going to be talking to, you know, let's say the bride is Rebecca later on, I know that she'll be also very thankful. And give yourself a round of applause. So now you hyped everybody up. Sure. You got the groom, they're like in you, like holy shit.
Like, oh.
And then
she sees me.
She sees you. Then you start off and you talk about always two things. Sisters. Right?
Like, we're sisters.
But two, it's like you always start off like, oh, I'm going to do an incriminating speech. And like, oh, they're getting ready.
Yeah.
And then you talk about soulmates. And then right after you talk about soulmates, like everyone always finds their one true love. And the bride found that when she met me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Boom, laughter. Then it begins the journey of that.
Yeah.
And then always I learned what always hits is you always go, I met the bride at this date. And then you go, if you do the math, that was this. That means we're only 25, even though they're 30. So as long as you have that in the beginning,
sure.
You have the soulmates, but that's when she met me.
And like a couple big laughs. And then
right.
you can like get
and
sentimental and
right.
like.
But the key is always talk about age.
Okay.
For some reason, they love that. These maid of honors. Like yeah, we're, you know, we're barely 25. Like that's always like the key, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're 35, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
25 is a laugh. Like that's a really good like laughter moment. I tried 27, 28 doesn't hit as hard.
25.
But 25, or if they're over the age of 40, then like barely 30. So like those two, 25 or 30 is like a good.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the formula, and then the very beginning, and then everything else is like.
Yeah.
Fluff.
Yeah.
So,
detail. Yeah. From the
right.
from the spreadsheet.
So yeah, hey guys, so if you ever get asked to write a maid of honor speech, that's what you do.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in the ghostwriting aspect of your life. How'd you get into that? And is it like through an agency?
No. It's all through word of mouth. So when I started helping YouTubers, I would write their blog posts.
Okay.
I write their.
Oh, and then it was like.
Right, and I would write their copy and ads, and I would write their scripts. I write shows.
Wow.
But I was always a ghostwriter because you don't want the fans to know.
No, you want to be them.
And word just.
Wow,
spreads around, right? I've never, luckily for me in my career, I believe this, like if you're good, your name will be heard. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah. The cream rises to the top, etc.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It was an honor. Thank you for engaging, listening to you like you just talked by yourself the whole time.
Yeah. This is my therapy. This is the Bottle Club. But Zach, where can people find you?
Oh, Zach Noe Towers everywhere. ZachNoeTowers.
Wait, so it's not ZACK?
CH.
Oh, fuck.
Short for Zachary.
I gotta change that on my fucking phone.
Damn
it.
You think you know someone.
And then you just
then you
don't. But follow him, Zach Noe Towers. Don't you have a podcast as well?
Oh, yeah. Good Morning Sodomites. It's me and a guest talking about their sexual journey.
It's a very Christian podcast. Makes
it's
sense.
like Christian meets hardcore anal gangbang.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
A Christly gangbang. On our knees for him.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Anyway, also the crewmates, I love you guys. Don't forget, you can follow us on the Bottle Club Pod on Instagram. If you want behind the scenes stuff, thebottleclubpod.com. But this is the most important. because Apple kind of fucks us up sometimes. Of course, you're gonna like and subscribe on YouTube, but hey, guys, please go to Apple Podcast, leave a 5-star review, and if you leave the review and you put your little Instagram, bing, bada, boom, I send you an Instagram video message.
So cute.
I know. So
what cute. A good I'm gonna go do it.
You should.
I am.
I swear to God.
I will.
All right. Love you guys. Love you, crew. Peace.